All right, here we go. What's good? What's good? What's good? Y'all tune in to Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad up here in effect with me tonight. It's deep in here. I got my man Tone from Into the Dome. What's good, fam?
Good player. Everything love.
All right, no doubt. DJ Rec out in Houston. What's good, B?
It's good, man. It's good. Happy New Year to everybody, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, I see James Harden out for 2 weeks, so you know it's gonna be kind of cold out there in Houston for a minute.
It's all good.
It's all good. Brother Ev, what's going on, good brother?
Peace, brother. How are you?
Yeah, man, everything is good. Everything is good. Nick out the ATL, what's good?
Maintaining. What's good?
All right, Veg from BK, what's good?
It's popping, man. Happy New Year.
You don't have to look happy. It's like Happy New Year, fuck y'all.
Ice grill.
Look, when you gotta shovel out your driveway because you tried to get out the hood,
Right.
you're not very happy sometimes.
I understand. And Vern out in ATL, bro.
I ain't said this all year. Hootie hoo!
Here we go. Yes.
Y'all already know me. Let's jump right into it, man. Today's show is about the rules and the foundation of hip hop, which I feel like personally are changing. We're gonna have a dialogue today. Maybe some other folk don't feel like they're changing, or they may feel like they're changing, but there's nothing wrong with that. So just kind of chopping it up about that. And what brought this on was, we all know December 14th. My phone is blowing up. Twitter is blowing up. Everybody's hitting me like, yo, did you see Thought? Did you hear Thought? This freestyle he did. I listened to it. It's incredible. He went off. I played it for my wife. Everybody's tweeting about it, talking about it. Great. Then last Saturday, I'm sitting here, and then I see on Twitter that that Thought is performing this freestyle to open up Root shows. And I kind of was just like, well, where they do that at, that you do a freestyle and then you repeat it again? And I think the reason that is kind of almost near and dear to my heart is because we had done a show a while back, like with the hip hop belts, because I was saying how in hip hop all we do is argue about who's the greatest of all time. And it's like everybody else we don't care about. It's just who's the best ever. And we're talking about who's the best storyteller, who's the best spitter, who's the best freestyler. And for me, it was Thought was the best spitter, and if I'm not mistaken, I may have said he was the best freestyler. And I was just saying that whenever you hear Thought freestyle, you never hear it again. You know what I mean? So I think for me, it kind of was like, wow, I just said when you hear Thought freestyle, you never hear it again, and you haven't for years. And now he's opening up shows with this joint. So I kind of was just like, okay, well, where they do that at? And then it got into a whole big thing on Twitter about, you know, well, freestyle really ain't off the dome. Cash was hitting me with book definitions like, well, in this such and such book, Big Daddy Kane said freestyle means it's a style that's free. Yeah. So really just, you know, it's not, it's a verse about nothing. And I'm like, well, shit, then that's 80% of hip hop, because 80% of hip hop niggas ain't really rapping about nothing. So, you know, I said for me in Philly in the 80s and the 90s, freestyling was off the top. And I know that because I spent way too many hours in my bedroom trying to learn how to rhyme about whatever was in the room. So when I went to the lunchroom the next day, I could hold it down. But again, that's Philly. Maybe in Brooklyn it was different. Maybe in Atlanta it's different. So first things first, for y'all, what did freestyle mean for you growing up? Vern, in ATL, what did freestyle mean for you? Or when you originally, I'm not talking about now, but originally, what did freestyle mean for you?
It meant exactly what it said, off the dome. I was trying to get in the rap game 90-91, and it meant exactly that. No written. Your boy can't be saying your hooks with you, you know. So yeah, it's just straight, unprepared, unwritten. That was my initial concept of freestyle.
All right, no doubt. Veg, you from Brooklyn. Kane said it was the style of free, and I was like, I don't even know what the fuck that means. So talk to me about what was freestyle for you growing up.
Same thing, man. It was about off the dome. It was about spontaneous lyrics and flow or whatever. I get what Kane's kind of saying the same thing, if you ask me, because it's no barrier on your rhymes or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's just you really are just coming up with them off the top of your head, coming up with the rhymes off the top of your head. So that's what I grew up knowing freestyling as is, if you're going to freestyle, it's you coming up with shit that you didn't write down, that you didn't perform, that you know nobody knew. You know, usually you could tell freestyling by people who you could tell in freestyling that you could see a person thinking, you know what I'm saying, as opposed to when you wrote something and it's confident. Now, some cats are really good at freestyling where it's sound written, but you can always tell when it's off the dome, and that's what freestyling was always to me. It meant that you were coming off the dome. You wasn't doing nothing written, pre-recorded, whatever.
All right. And it kind of defined what Kane meant more.
I got the book, Kill. If you want me to read what he said, I got it right here.
You can read it, bro.
All right. He said the term freestyle is like a new term because in the 80s, when we said we wrote a freestyle rap, that meant that it was a rhyme that you wrote that was free of style, meaning that it's not on a particular subject matter. It's not a story about a woman. It's not a story about poverty. It's basically a rhyme just bragging about yourself. So it's basically free of style. That's really what a freestyle is, off the top of the head. We just call it that off the dome when you don't write it and you say whatever comes to mind. He kind of contradicted himself if you think about it.
Right. Because the first thing he said was, "Is you write a rhyme,
yeah,
it just has no real topic."
No real topic, yeah.
Right.
Nick, what's up? You grew up in the ATL. What was it? What was freestyle like for you?
And I think by the time I got around, like really got into rap, high school, like 93, 94, it was more so what Big Daddy Kane said in that book, as far as a rhyme free of style. Kind of like when Chuck D was like, "I don't rhyme for the sake of riddling." I kind of understand what he meant because he always rapped about a topic. Mm-hmm. And like you said, 80% of rap was just whatever. So most of rap is freestyle. Like Das Effects is freestyle rap by that definition that Kane gave.
Okay, and that's what you grew up thinking.
By the time I got around, yeah.
All right, no doubt. Ev, you from the crib, man. You were an MC in these ciphers in the 90s. What was freestyling for you?
Freestyling was like pretty much everybody said. It was off the top of the dome. It was actually forbidden to spit a written in freestyle ciphers. So if you went into a cipher, the ciphers alone was freestyle. Like, so if you ciphered up with a bunch of MCs, everybody was spitting off the top of the dome. No one was spitting because you wasn't performing, so you wasn't necessarily spitting anything that you wrote. But I have to do commend Kane because this is the thing too. I believe that the definition changes according to region and time frame. So in the 80s in Brooklyn or in New York, it might have been like, we just not, because you think about it, MCs were everyone had a subject matter. So to them, freestyle may have meant like no subject matter, just whatever just bragging on yourself. But for me in Philly in the 90s, it was off the top of the dome. You wasn't spitting a written, and it was really on some steel sharpen steel kind of things. Like the freestyle cipher was meant, especially around the cats that you like spit with like that. The whole purpose of it was for you to get sharper on who you were, sharper as an MC, sharper as a freestyler, the whole nine. So yeah.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Rec? You in Jersey and Queens. What was it like for you?
I mean, like Ev said, everybody hit it, man. Primarily, it was off the top, and he said it right. If you was gonna spit a written, you best come with a disclaimer like, "Yo, this written." Mm-hmm. You couldn't just spit a written and push it off as a freestyle because it was, like he said, it was forbidden. You had to come off the top on the spot. It was no written rhymes. You wasn't performing that again. You better hope your man had a tape recorder to record it. You could memorize the verse if it was hot because it was off the top. It was right then and there. Whatever you talking about, right then and there. You can't just spit something that's in your back pocket. It's got to be something that you ain't never spit before.
Right. All right. What about you, Tone, out in North Carolina?
Hey, you see the shirt, the dome, everything off the top, man. But for us, growing up, I was in high school in '89. So it was about having fun. So freestyling, it was basic rhymes, hat, back, cat, whatever you talking with your man, and you ranking on his shoes and his shirt or whatever. So it was more or less that was kind of a fun and early way of battling a little bit to a degree, but it was really just for fun, man. So, but if someone could do it on a higher level, that would be the cat who would get the most props to. Like, yo, his freestyle sounds so dope. It sounds like he's writing it down, but it was really mostly basic off the dome. having some fun with some wordplay, nothing major. But I think when it got to like the mid-90s, you start hearing about DJ Clue doing the cannabis freestyle and all that. Well, they wasn't freestyles, but he was saying them on the radio. It sounded good, but it obviously was written rhymes. You know what I'm saying? Last time I heard a high-end freestyle was like KRS-One back then. It was still kind of basic though, but it had flavor. You know what I'm saying? But you can still tell KRS was very basic with his freestyle rhymes. But it's like everybody else, man. Nothing written, off the top of the head, having fun with some words.
All right, no doubt. And I mean, I think like to echo what F said, I mean, because I tried them. See, I wasn't very good at it, so I stopped. But, you know, in doing that, like, yo, you couldn't come to Cypher with a written verse. Like, you just couldn't. Like, niggas would look at you like, nah, but you said that last time. Like, that was the whole point of you being able to be like, okay, he got on this and she got on that and they on us. And it was about being able to come off the dome and everything like that. So tell me this, y'all. So I'm watching, you know, so me and Ev talking. I see this thing about Thought doing these freestyles. I call Ev like, yo, man, I ain't feeling this, you know, and we going back and forth for a minute. And then I look at the clip and then somebody said, well, Kill, did Thought ever say it was a freestyle? You know, it seemed like that's just what the internet picked up and ran with. So I found this clip of Thought on the couch with Jimmy the next night or the next couple of days. And Jimmy asked him, yo, was that a freestyle? And Thought said, yeah, that was a freestyle. And Jimmy Fallon is like, man, that's incredible. I can't freestyle for 10 seconds. Give me a word. Orange, okay. And then Jimmy tried to write. So Jimmy Fallon understood what the fuck a freestyle meant, you know. And then Thought said, yep, that was a freestyle. Now, again, there are going to be people out here, maybe some people on the panel, people watching going to be like, damn, Kills it that deep? Like, why you got like, you know, he said it was a freestyle. My thing is, because I know Thought, and again, coming back to what I said in the beginning, he just got the belt from me for being like the illest freestyler. Now you're going to sit here. It's almost like we used to say this growing up in the hood, man. Why you lying on your dick, man? You know you ain't. You know you ain't. Like, come on, man. You know you ain't smack. Like, don't do that. So it's like he could have easily been like, oh, nah, Jimmy, that was a verse I had, you know, just, you know, stashed in the backpack ready to go or whatever. So, and then somebody had sent me this article from Rolling Stone where basically Thought had said, yeah, freestyling used to mean off the top, but now it's evolved. And he even said, yo, if I went on Stretch and Bobbito, I would have just came off the top of the dome. And I don't know if anybody saw the Stretch and Bobbito documentary, but what I love about it is because people would be freestyling, you would see at the bottom of the screen, it would say freestyle.
Yeah.
So, or if somebody was around and like somebody heard later on, they would say like previously unheard verse. So they felt like it was that important for you to understand, like, okay, Busting them, they freestyling. That's a verse y'all just ain't heard yet. So Thought was talking about how the word freestyle has evolved and how it used to be this, but you know, since he's an actor now, you know, he feels like you got to have a script and you can kind of improv it. And I feel some kind of way because I guess I feel like why in hip hop are we allowing words and definitions and our rules to evolve? And what I mean by that is that, like, you know, y'all know I do marriage counseling and coaching and all that. And it's kind of like the foundation of hip hop was built up on certain rules. You know, no biting, you know, just a certain criteria for the hip hop culture. And I guess my first question before I go down my long rant is, how did cats find out about these rules? Like, you know, I know, because when I think about it, it's like, yo, hip hop started in the South Bronx. So somebody said no biting. How did that get to Queens, Brooklyn? How did it get to Philly? How did it get to Atlanta? How did y'all learn about these hip hop rules with like no biting, or I don't want to rhyme like him, or I want to do my own thing? Like, how did these rules get passed down? Vern, how did you hear and learn about these hip hop rules that I'm now saying are starting to change?
I would say New York, man. Just because I moved to Atlanta in '86, and we had some cats that came from New York. They put us on to a lot of, because at that time, '86, you had Miami-based music, Booty Shake, MC Shadi, all that kind of stuff. So Troy and Sterling, man, I'm amazed I still remember their names. But they put me on to a lot of that, the kind of rules and just learning different things about it. So that's I mean, it was never like, here are the laws of hip hop. It was just my own thing. I mean, we heard biting. Okay, what is biting? that means you're taking somebody else's stuff. Okay, we know that's not never a good thing, be it hip hop or anything else. So it kind of was passed down, wasn't necessarily etched in stone, but those were things that were understood.
All right, what about you, man?
Yeah, I agree with Vern. I don't think it wasn't nobody necessarily saying, these are the rules of hip hop. But if I had to take an educated guess, it's regarding rules, that might have just been a crowd thing, a crowd reaction thing. You know what I'm saying? A crowd hearing you spit something again and not feeling you, or a crowd knowing that they heard another MC say what you're saying and booing you, and people feeling like that's off limits. And maybe because with hip hop, I know we talking about evolution, it's organic. You know what I'm saying? Freestyling is organic. So I think the rules are organic. I think they just became rules because, of how people felt about them, at least at the time. And because it was our art form and we created it, we just started deciding, we ain't want to hear no biting. You had to come with it. And they just kind of became the general rules, you know what I'm saying? And people just passed it on, as they talked to others or talked about events they were at. And, you know what I'm saying? Like this DJ, is scratching like this DJ, or, they trying to loop like, Grandmaster Flash or whatever, you know what I'm saying? So, or the breakdown or whatever, the get down, whatever it is. But I think, I don't think there was any like one situation where I felt like there was a whole bunch of rules thrown at me. I just knew them from hearing them in records, like no biting allowed. So, you think to yourself, okay, no biting, you know what I'm saying? That's one rule. And okay, freestyle is off the top of the dome, so I can't call this rhyme a freestyle because I wrote it. So I think a lot of that stuff was organic and we just followed it because we're a part of the culture.
Right.
But I don't think there was nothing stationary about it, like these are the rules,
Right. And I think one of the things you said was important because, like you said, because we follow the culture. And I think what's happening now is that me and Ev have always said it's like I feel like the culture's been taken away. There's no graph. I can't tell you last time I heard a DJ scratch on the record. Nobody's breaking, so all we have left
is rapping.
Yep.
And I think the hard part is when and I tweeted this, whoever sent me the Rolling Stone piece, I tweeted to him like, okay, that's cool. So Thought is saying the definition changed. And I said, well, do this. I said, if Thought can go home and tell his wife that his new definition of commitment has changed and she's okay with that, then I ain't got no fucking problem with the definition. And why I say that is because no other word in the dictionary. The word is the word. You know what I mean? It doesn't commitment 5,000 years ago the same way that it means right now. Now, if you and your wife want to go out and be swingers, that's good. Y'all swingers. We got a word for that. You know what I'm saying? So why? And I'm asking this to anybody. I mean, everybody jump in whenever, but I feel like the rules of hip hop are changing, and it's like with even being authentic. When who was it? 50 Cent pulled Rick Ross's car like used to be a CO. You know what I mean? I was like, yo, this dude is done. Yo, this is and all this, and it was like Rick Ross was like, yeah, I lied. Okay, and here's my new album, and it was like, yo, that's it. Like, yo, this dude just lied, admitted he lied, and it was just like, who cares? Gilly the Kid. I think we talked about ghostwriting with Meek. I know Meek thought he had the big Joker with Drake. Like, I'm about to hit
his career.
Joker. I mean, in this Joker career, and it backfired on him. Like, yo, this is where we're at in hip hop. Like, niggas were mad at Meek. Like, yo, you a snitch, nigga. Why you snitching on the boy? Like, what the hell, Nick? I saw your hand go up. What you thinking, bro?
Now, what I was gonna say is like, as far as like the rules changing, since it's not like written rules. So like everybody else, like especially being in the South, we on the outside anyway. So it was, I heard it on records, interviews in the Source or whatever, rap pages, whatever magazine. That's where we heard it from. And with the guys like Rakim and KRS, Big Daddy Kane being the leaders at that point, they made the rules. You come to today, who are the leaders now? Drake, niggas like that, they don't care about the rules.
Right.
So that's where the rules get murky, because the leaders of rap, don't care no more. And neither does the fan base, as we learned with me.
That's the key.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about the how can I say the popularity of what we know as hip hop to be. I think, you know, another thing too, the fact that it's so popular that now everyone feels like, you know, you can put your 2 cents in, you can change that when you want to change it up, and it's cool. I think when it was more underground, you abided by rules because it was like being a part of a group. You wanted to be a part of the group, and these are the rules to be a part of this group. So if you was ahead, you know, and like for me when I came up, it was at least 10 MCs, and for some reason we all knew freestyle was up the top of the dome, so we never violated that. But you might be in a cypher, you hear somebody violate, and you're like, yo, that was written. You were like, it was kind of like back in the day, the way, if you ever do any research on jazz and how the jazz cats was, like they had rules. So you had to come a certain kind of way and do a certain kind of thing, or you would get checked. And I think that's the thing too. You know, I hear conversations. I mean, I don't mean to be on a tangent, but I hear conversations with young cats, or we talk about the younger generation, and they say, "Hey, y'all didn't pass the rules down to it." Well, when we do pass the rules, then at some point somebody wants to change them to benefit how they want to move or how they want to navigate. But I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's so more like widespread and so popular now, and it's not like you're not trying to be part of there's no such thing as a hip hop head now. Before you was a head, so you was like everybody wasn't a head. People listen to music, but you wasn't always a head. Now hip hop is like eggs in the morning. Everybody got it. Everybody do it. It's not sacred anymore. And I think that's one of the problems is we're not sacred as an art form.
Yeah. Y'all remember how hard and how honorable it was to actually get in a studio?
Oh, man.
That's another thing. Yeah.
But that's the thing. Not everybody understands that because we all sitting on this panel have some sort of music equipment right in this space that you can look at. It wasn't the case 20 years ago. If you was going to a studio, it was real. You was serious because you was spending whatever money you had to spend for that hour, 2-3 hours to go in that studio because you was in a real live 64-track studio. You was not in, like, case in point, my garage. It was not in that. You know what I'm saying? So it was real. It wasn't for play. If you was doing it, you was doing it for one, because it was something that you truly believed in. And for two, the culture was in you. You wasn't just walking around talking about you could spit because you don't know who you talking to. They might be like, yo, well, spit something. I spit too. You know what I'm saying? So somebody was always checking you. Somebody was always checking you to see what it was. You know, Ev just said it. Yo, you people police themselves up. Your crew policed you. You go into a cypher spitting a written. That's one of the reasons I became a DJ and making beats, because I couldn't rap like that. So if I went in the cypher, the little joint I jotted down, I dare not spit that. I'm like, yo, I make the beats out the crew. I'm in the back bobbing my head because I know my man about to kill it. I'm not gonna get out here and look like an ass and shit and make my crew look stupid because I can't freestyle. I'm not about to go out here and spit some written. I'm gonna be like, yo, I make the beats. My beats is tight. You know what I'm saying? It was more so you policed yourself up, you policed your crew up. That's not the case no more, man. Cats is out here just doing it because they think that they hear 21 Savage go do something. They can sit there and be like, yeah, I got 9 M's in my bank account. Nah, nigga, you ain't got shit. That's not what it is. That's not the culture. The culture, Ev said it, the culture is lost because of the fact that it is now a business. It was a business back then, but the culture was still alive because we had the OGs, like Veg said, telling us, hey, look, you do this, you do that, you do this. You had your uncles, your aunties, whoever telling you, nah, you do this, you do that. It's not like that no more. These young kids don't want to hear that shit. They want to know how can they get the fastest route to get paid. It's not about the culture no more. These little niggas money want to know about how they can get these bullshit ass deals and get this one hot song where they can get paid. That's it. The culture's lost.
It really is.
Somebody told me last week I was old school because I got 1200s.
Nah, I feel you. Y'all G's, what's good, brother?
Oh man, just got done shoveling a lot of snow.
Hey,
Yeah. Took a lot longer than expected, but you know, I made it, so I'm here. What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
No doubt, bro. We talked about the thought freestyle, everything like that. So I mean, you can tell me, you spend time in Philly, time in New York. What was freestyling for you when you was coming up?
So I mean, listen, honestly, the whole term freestyle was, I mean, obviously it was derived. I mean, meant to me, you know, when I first, off the top of your head, off the top of your dome, you know what I'm saying, somebody throw a beat on you, just come up with rhymes on the spot. And I think with the development of like bringing people up to the radio to spit, you know what I mean, people had to be prepared. Honestly, you had to be prepared with verses. Only because, you know, it's basically like a free verse, a free written verse that didn't really have to do anything with, didn't have much to do with anything in particular, just about just showcasing your skill. And it has been kind of like thrown in the pool of freestyling, so to speak. Yeah. And I think, like I said, with the whole era of people come up to the radio, I think I want to say it started with Rockefeller, but, you know, people come to the radio station, you know, Barbito and, you know, Stretch did that all the time. But I think once it got more commercialized, once the big dogs, the people that were signed coming in, the Loxes, 50 and G Unit, Rockefeller would come to the radio station and have these freestyle sessions, so to speak. I think that's when the term kind of got a bit and kind of just mixed in. So, I mean, to me, I mean, I consider free writing to be freestyle if it's not about anything in particular, if it's not for a particular song or a particular reason. If you're just spitting bars, that could be considered a freestyle. But I think with the whole Black Thought freestyle, I think everybody, and him saying that, oh, I have written it, people got a little, you know, perturbed, a little felt a little disrespected as far as what they perceive the term freestyle to be. So, you know, it's all about how you perceive it and what you think about it. I call it a freestyle if it's free writing. And that's only because of the era I grew up in. You know what I mean? A lot of people who are older than me might think that freestyling is strictly off the dome, strictly off the top of your head. Freestyling is basically just having a free verse over somebody else's beat, or however you want to, you know, quantify or categorize it.
You know, and the funny thing that both, oh my bad, Ev, you had something?
I just want to add to that. I thought y'all said something that made me think, and I wonder if this is what happened when hip hop became more popular and cats started going to the popular radio stations, and then that thing came into freestyle. Then they would bring written rhymes because on the air you don't want to come off like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But I think if you think about it, like I think about Guru. Guru was a good MC, but he was not a freestyler. He would let you know, like, yeah, I don't freestyle. That's not what I do. And if you think about it, during this 90s era, or 90s and the late 90s, early 2000s, the thing with cats gaining popularity and trying to get their name out there, you want nothing that's going to make you seem like you're less than any other MC out there. So I wonder if that was kind of the thing that started to shift everything as far as like people coming and wanting to still be, you know, because imagine Nas trying to freestyle and he comes off whack. And all of a sudden nobody likes Nas like that no more. And then now the records aren't selling like that no more. So I guess that's my whole point. I wonder if that has something to do with
I definitely think that had everything to do with it, because when you come to the radio show, this is your chance, especially if you're unsigned, Friday. This is your chance to show the world that you can spit. And if you're really unprepared and you think about going in with a freestyle unwritten verse and it doesn't work out for you, then you'll never see the light of day again. I think back to even before the radio station freestyles. I'll even say the Clue tapes and the mixtapes that we have, like the K Slays, the DJ Envies, they're promoting freestyles. Like it was one of the highlights of the tape. Like when you got a Clue tape, the first freestyle you hear will probably be either a Fab or a Joe Budden freestyle, so to speak. So I think that's where the term got convoluted as well. But like I said, like you were saying, when you came to the radio station, this literally could be your first and last chance. So you got to be ready. You know what I mean? And so, you know.
And I think another thing too is I think that's a good point, because when you think about it, the cats who's going up to Stretch and Bob were already signed. You know what I mean? These dudes weren't going up there to, you know, battle nobody. They was just going up there. Basically, was taking what was on the street corner and putting it on the radio.
And Stretch and Bobito's listeners are all going to be like underground heads anyway. It's not like it's like mainstream radio.
Right. It's not Hot 97. And like Yao said, this is your one chance to make it run. Now, that's to me how the word evolved. But I think one of the things that both Rec and we're talking about with the culture is that, again, I feel like those pillars of being authentic, they're gone. Because you can have a Rick Ross who says, I was a CEO, no, I wasn't, I was lying, and it's still all good. You got your Gilly who's like, yo, Wayne don't write his rhymes. You know, nobody cares. You got Meek saying Drake don't write his rhymes. Nobody cares. But the hard part for me is, and I always try to give analogies with relationships because we all have been in them, is that if you get a couple who gets married and the foundation of their relationship is, say, let's say Christianity, and they both go to church and they both love God. If one of those people in that marriage decide, you know what, I don't believe in God no more, the whole foundation of that marriage changes. You know what I mean? And I've seen this with many couples. You got people getting divorced, the foundation changes, and everything falls apart. So to me, it's the same with hip hop. If we allow these rules and these words to, and we could use a cute word like evolve, shit, all that means to me is it's changing. You know what I mean? If it's evolving, you know, because guess what? That husband is saying, you know what, sweetheart, I evolved. I don't believe in God. You know, you telling me somebody went into the mouth of the whale and got spit back out, and a snake told somebody not to eat an apple. Like, come on. You know what I mean? So it changes. And to me, that's what's happening with hip hop. With our rules, it's changing. And then we look up and we're wondering why hip hop is so fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Or why things. So why do y'all think, like, and I know what Ev said, like, yo, we try to, because I hear it all the time. The same thing you said, Ev. Yo, none of the OGs passed on the rules. Then when we try to pass on the rules, it's like, oh, shut up, old head. And the funny thing is, I'll get, yo, Kill, stop being the man telling kids to get off your lawn by niggas who are my age.
Damn.
Who are telling me, yo, chill out with that. You'd be shocked at how many young dudes get at me on Twitter, like, yo, what you think of my music, OG, or what you think? It be the dudes my age who still trying to be young.
Them Vlad niggas, Vlad TV niggas.
Right, y'all know me. I still say dope. I know niggas my age that be like, yo, that shit was lit. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what lit means.
For real.
I'm stuck over here. You know, so Veg, what do you think? How do you feel about the rules hip hop changing? Do you think it's okay that they evolve, or do you think that they should stay the same?
I think it's okay that they evolve. I mean, if hip hop didn't evolve, the shit would be dead.
Yeah.
We say it all the time on here. Rakim changed the way niggas rhyme. Rakim wasn't thinking about the next level or evolving the culture. And maybe he wasn't thinking about evolving the culture. He was thinking about doing something dope and something different. And I think that's all that's happening. I don't think hip hop is whack. I just think that it's not on the hip hop we enjoy is not on the radio as much, but it's still being created. It would be whack if the whack shit was on the radio. There was no dope hip hop to find anywhere. We all did top fives, and it was some hot shit that didn't, in most cases, didn't get a lot of airplay, but still exist. It's more or less is hip hop evolved in a bad way as it relates to the mainstream and the radio? Yes, but as a culture, I don't think so, because I think you just got different sections of the culture now. It's not just one thing anymore, and I think that's kind of what is difficult to deal with for us. You know what I'm saying? Because we come from a time where it was this one thing. It was this one culture of these are the things you do, these are the things you don't do. This is how it should sound. This is who's dope. This is who isn't dope, and that was it. But now it's got so blown out where it's the message is mixed. We don't get the message fucked up, but there are a lot of people who do. You know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who still turn to the radio to find out what's dope in hip hop, and unfortunately, that's not the destination anymore. You know what I'm saying? The internet is the destination. Forums, podcasts like this, these are the destinations today. Back in the days, like my man Vern said, somebody came down from New York, told him about some stuff, played some stuff. That's how he found out. You know what I'm saying? I learned from old heads. We all kind of learned from older heads and things we would hear. And that's how we learn. But today, it's a little bit different. Now it's kind of like you have to be on the internet. You got to be on YouTube and SoundCloud and all these different spots, basically digging. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like a gift and a curse, because it's kind of like it reverted back to, well, the real hip hop, reverted back to a more underground level, you know, almost exclusive club that know about these dope records that are out and these dope MCs, and the mainstream is just creating their own version of hip hop. It's just unfortunate. It kind of paints a picture of the whole culture, and a lot of people are misinformed. But that's why they come to podcasts like this, to find out that
that's an analogy, man.
this is what it really is. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's okay if it evolves. I don't have a problem with freestyling evolving the whole name and shit, because I felt like that was a conversation that I was having in like the late 90s when I was just like one of y'all, where I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's not a freestyle, when I would hear dudes on the radio. But it just kind of changed with the times, and I don't have a problem with it as much as I used to. But you know, it's a lot of shit I don't have a problem with like I used to. So I don't fight as much as I used to. So what? You know what I'm saying?
And I think with evolve, I'm more so saying, like, I guess in terms of, and I see what you're saying there. You're right. Hip hop would be whack if it was just nothing dope. You know what I mean? And you're right. And that's not the case. I guess my biggest concern is just, you know, when people are saying, like, do we just then say, you know what, all the little fill in the blanks, little Yachty's, little Uzis, little everybody's, just let them do them? Like, is there, like, you know, you see, I think, Veg, you sent it to me where I think Waka Flocka was going at Pete Rock, and you know, when somebody, when an OG tries to say something to a young dude, it's offensive, and it's like, let us do us. So do we kind of just be like on some old Dilla shit, like, fuck it, y'all got that style, we'll just keep doing us over here?
I personally think that, I think we might have to really look into like reclassifying hip hop and have different sectors of it. Like you have your trap rap, you have your mainstream hip hop, whatever you want to quantify it, because it just got too convoluted. And just not to go off tangent, but the moment I knew it changed again was when radio, they asked him to spit a freestyle. It was some type of bogus 8-bar thing he put out. Then he was like, yo, man, where you got to spit a high 16, like, this ain't the time. I'm thinking to myself, a high 16, that's like remedial. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be, I always thought to myself, you have to at least be able to do that, whether it was a high verse or not. 16-bar verse ready in the tuck when you go to the radio. You don't even do that no more. Guys don't really, I'm not necessarily having respect but I mean, like you said, they're just trying to find a way to get to the money, get to the bag as soon as possible. You know what I mean? And on TV growing up, maybe it's because the best way to get out. Generation anyway, where everybody wants everything quick anyway. Like everybody wants players to win championships out of their third or fourth year. It don't work like that. It's a process. It's a pecking order to everything we do in life. You know what I'm saying? And people in this age don't really want to respect it. They want to go get it as soon as possible. So I think that has a lot to do with it as well.
All right, no doubt. And it's funny when you were saying, or Big, you were saying how everybody was the same. I always said the album to me that split hip hop down the middle and really started this riff was Jay's Hard Knock Life album. Because I remember when that joint dropped and it was like half of hip hop at Morgan was like, that shit is whack. Like them Swiss beats are whack. That's whack, and then the other half of hip hop was like, nah, that's dope. I like that. I like that new sound. And prior to that album, like you said, Vegas, we kind of all agreed, like these are hot, like these are the dope people, these are the whack people. And it's like that album, to me, I just literally saw people who would always agree on everything now going to blows against each other. I done seen people getting into fist fights over that album on how much it was. It's whack. No, it's dope. I've never seen no other album people react like that. Ed, what do you think, man? What do you think of hip hop? And then I guess maybe here's a better question for y'all. Like Veg, you said, I'm gonna get to you, Ed. When you said hip hop evolving, what do you mean by that? And the only reason why I asked is because we all have different definitions for other words. So when you say if hip hop didn't evolve, it would have died. So I'll give you a great example. Gangstar. And Guru said this. He said it's the same formula every time. we We ain't changing. We ain't outcast. We ain't gonna give you no live instrumentation. This is Gangstar. And nobody had no problem with that. So did Gangstar not evolve? Like, what does evolve mean? Because when I hear that, it's like, would hip hop really be dead if Rakim was still doing Rakim and Gangstar was still doing Gangstar and Pete and CL was still making the same kind of music? Because isn't that what EPMD did? Didn't EPMD necessarily, in some way, shape, or form, make the same album 5 times?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right, but is that a bad thing? Like, because somebody could say, well, EPMD never evolved because they just kept making the same old album over and over again. Where somebody may say, see, Outkast, they evolved because, you know, one album didn't sound like the next. So is evolve really bad?
It ain't bad if you do it well.
Yeah, I guess that's the point. If you do it well.
Yeah, because
like,
not everybody is able to evolve to the point to where it's going to be accepted. You know, everybody's not made to evolve. EPMD, I can't see them with a live instrumentation. Yeah. They come with some funk, I'm fucking with it.
But here's the thing, is that's why I'm saying, are we using the word evolve right? Because I feel like if you say, well, EPMD didn't evolve, then it makes it sound like they stayed stagnant. Like, you know.
Oh, no. Let me say, when I say that, when I think of evolve, I'm talking about the culture as a whole. I'm not talking about one particular artist or group or even just the sound. You know what I'm saying? Because we know there's certain people, we just like them to do the same thing they do. Like, I don't want Rick Ross to do anything else but what he already does.
Right.
Because that's what he's good at. You know what I'm saying? But lyrically, nobody's saying yes, y'all, and motherfucker, and you don't stop and keep the party going and all that. Nobody's saying that shit because lyrically it got more technical. Production got more technical. It evolved. So that's what I mean. Like, the techniques evolved. The sound can be the same, but maybe it's the way they do it. I think that's the thing I like about Jay Dilla. When you just listen to his beats, you know, not knowing anything about how he created them, you know, they sound, you could easily think he made it just like Premier made it. Right. He chopped it up the same way. But then when you learn all these different things, it's like, nah, Jay Dilla is doing something far beyond what DJ Premier is doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's evolution. Right. You know what I'm saying? But Premier had to lay that foundation by making a fucking beat out of static. You know what I'm saying? Like, who was doing that before Premier? So that's what I mean by evolution, is just there was Rakim and then there was Nas. You know what I'm saying? And we know that Nas is I won't say a better MC, but he's definitely an extension of Rakim as far as taking Rakim's style and the way he approached lyrics to the next level. And that's what I mean by evolve with hip hop. But these niggas on the radio are regressing. Right. So,
now tell me this, do y'all feel like there's anybody, what you said, Veg, that Nas learned from Rakim and then he evolved? Like, do y'all feel like there are any MCs? Because we did the show, you put me on to the dude, God, what's his name? Nick Grant, right, exactly. Like, you've got these cats. Do you feel like they're the extension of Nas? Like, do you feel like not the radio artists, but like the artists that we all listen to, do you feel like can you see, or do you feel like they're the extension of Jay or an extension of, you know, of a Nas? What do you think, Tom?
Well, I don't know too many of them, and I try to dig as much as I can. But someone like Saha the Prince, for example, he takes me back to the lyrical MCs. You know, the big puns, the big L's, some of the '90s guys or whatever. So Saha is one of the ones that takes me back to that, because I like lyrics. I want to hear what you're talking about. Take me to another place, man. Some escapism. True MCs, they help me escape. You know what I'm saying? So kids like Saha, there's a few, but he comes to mind first.
All right. What about you, Breck? What about you, Breck? You got any MCs who you feel like, I guess, are they like, are the MCs now that we like, the Nick Grants, the Sahas, the Kendricks? Because I feel like we only have, not to say, like, I don't want to belittle it, like we only got, like how we did the show. What MCs post 2000 are you feeling not named Kendrick, Cole? Yeah, great. Like, I feel like those are always the go-tos. You know what I mean? Like, are there other MCs that are pulling from the people from the past to make the music that much better?
Outside of what you named,
I know, right?
It's tough. I mean, you look at a Elzai, you look at a Guilty Simpson, you look at a Rock, rest in peace. I mean, no, because you guys said it earlier. These guys are not looking for that. They're looking for the bag. So they're rooted in what is hot and how quickly can I get my check.
Hold on for a second, right? Not and maybe y'all school me. I don't know. I thought when we were talking about MCs that were trying to get the bag, I thought we were talking about the radio cats. I didn't know we were talking about even the underground cats, like, you know.
Okay, so those that are trying to get the bag is what you want my answer from.
Nah, even the underground cats. Do you feel like there's some
okay? Yes.
Because
I will give Elzai credit, because anytime you say that you are going to recreate arguably the best album in hip hop and you do a fucking stand up job to the point to where you don't even think about Illmatic, yes, I will give Elzai that credit.
Yes.
I will give Skyzoo that credit. These guys are meticulous when it comes to their verses, they beats, they think the whole process out, and they don't think about the check. They know the check is going to come. It may not come from the radio or the mainstream parts, but they are very calculated in how they put their music out, their brand. Like they believe in that. You know what I'm saying? It's not a situation where it's like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna just do this record because it's got the hot 3 artists on it and I'm gonna get paid from it. They understand that their brand is their brand, and that is what people are gonna look at when you talk about them as a whole, as an artist. When they don't have that 5 minutes no more, when they're the ones who you got to go to the internet to check their music. It's just not there, man. It's not there. It's
Real
sad,
quick.
but it's not there. I don't see it from many artists. I couldn't give you 5 people.
Right. And even the guys that they named, like Elzai, Skyzoo, them cats like my age.
Yep.
Even
they're in our age group.
They are in our age group. You look at Skyzoo. Skyzoo's probably the youngest out of what I named.
Yeah,
he came up. Honestly, I remember Skyzoo battling on
106
Park. He battled on 106 Park.
I remember Skyzoo ripping cats, and they're like, boo, boo, boo.
Yeah.
So
like,
that part of the
guys used to be on 106 and Park.
Yes. YouTube it. For those that are watching, Skyzoo was on 106 in Park doing the same shit that he's doing now, killing motherfuckers. Still got booed. So that part of the culture, that cipher that all of us came up in, it's not rooted anymore. It's just like everyone said. Yes, it has evolved, but I think that part of it is gone. Certain cats, they want you to hear what they're saying. Other cats don't give 2 fucks.
Exactly. They just don't.
They don't. It has nothing to do with the culture. They just were never probably rooted in it. So they don't understand what it is to be that MC, to where when you go to the studio, you best come with some hot shit. Or if somebody come at you like, yo, you spit, let me hear something. It best be hot. You ain't gonna be sitting here talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Like, nah, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. We want to hear what you're saying. The world is in a situation to where you got to come with some lyrics to change the way people's thought process is. Granted, Jay-Z did it on 444, but you said it killed. He shouldn't have to sit there and tell you you're gonna pay your fucking bills to have a better life. That should be your upbringing. But
some people have good upbringing.
Some people do. But you see where we are. If it takes a rapper to tell you to do these things, we're in a fucked up situation.
They only cared for like a month, and it was like,
and that's it. And that's it. Because now
these pills,
they don't give a fuck. Now it is what it is. It's free game.
And the cop out is age, and it's like that's an excuse because Outkast they weren't even 20 when they did Southern Playlist.
But you know what?
They weren't 20 when 93 Till Infinity came out.
No, they were kids.
So you either want to rap or you don't want to rap.
But to that point though, they were under the tutelage of Reek and Sleep and all them, and
no doubt.
Dale, so they had some elders to pour.
But they were willing to
exactly. No doubt.
But I thing is too is that even if they were willing to listen, but that's all hip hop was at the time. There wasn't a choice. Where now we have options. Like, you know what I mean? For Souls of Mischief, there was no other type of hip hop to make unless you're gonna do Vanilla Ice.
And if you think about it, they went against the grain because where they from?
What was the Bay?
They was hyphy back in '93. Don't get it fucking twisted. They was hyphy in '93. They went way against the grain. It just so happened that we was at a situation in time where it was like, yo, these cats is from where? Oh, I'm dick. Then they had the blue vinyl.
But the thing is also with the West Coast cats, and this may be another show. There's a lot of West Coast cats who sounded East Coastish. Because if you went and up told me the Licks, 90 Souls of Mischief,
and all them cats.
Now the Licks was from Ohio.
I would have thought all those groups I just named was from New York. But let me ask this question real quick. Yeah, you're probably the youngest cat up here. When I first met you, and Bird told me, yo, my homegirl's man rhymes, and I know y'all age group the young 30s. I wasn't expecting you. I was expecting some old bullshit. So tell me this: you being younger, why do you rhyme the way you rhyme? Because when you talk, or when we talk about, me and you could talk for hours about hip hop, and I really don't find too many people under 35. Like, I almost got a thing on Twitter now. If you under 35, I ain't even talking to you. Don't even
Oh my Lord.
Under 35. Come on, I'm only 38.
Hey,
you can only go back so far.
Here's the funny thing, man. A year in hip hop means a lot. It means a lot. Like, you know, me being a senior in high school is totally different than somebody in eighth grade.
You're right.
I'm 40. Now that we old, it's like, oh, I'm 43 dating a 39-year-old. It don't sound bad, but
back then
he came up with different types of music. So with that 4 or 5 year age gap, we was watching 2 different cartoons. You don't know nothing about talking about some of that stuff. Now, I didn't know what was going on. So yeah, what made you, rhyme the way you rhyme at your age?
Man, I guess it's just the influence. Like, it's what I grew up listening to. It's what I grew up around. And I just felt like there was always a standard of what I had to do in order to get my friends to respect my rhyme. You know what I mean? Because we all listen to the same music, and we all consider ourselves to be pretty, knowledgeable in hip hop. At least when I was younger. It was kind of the cool thing to kind of know what was coming out, know what was hot, know what wasn't. So I knew if my rhyme wasn't like not necessarily comparable to the guys I was listening to, but it wasn't listenable to the guys that I was with, as far as we had the same influence and the same listening ear, then I wouldn't do it. And I would just had that. I still to this day write rhymes for my friends' approval. You know what I'm saying? I still like, yo, I still think about those times when I was in college, and it's like, yo, my man Bell and my man Jay be like, yeah, I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? I always think about that. That's what keeps me driven, to make sure that, like, I'm still keeping my pen game correct. I'm still like better myself with rhymes. You know what I mean? People don't. I mean, I still feel like I can get better, and I'm 36 years old. I feel like I still have another level to get to, and not necessarily to get a deal or to try to be profitable for him, but I just feel like there's another level I can get to as far as my skill and wanting to improve it. And I just always had that instilled in me from when I was very young. Like you walk into my uncle's room, it's pictures of KRS and Run DMC, and there's a certain standard of rhyme you had to be held to. There was Nas was on the wall, then Big was on the wall. Like, this is when I was young, 9, 10, 11 years old. So it was always that, like, yo, rhyme from my uncle or have my uncle hear my rhyme be like, man, what is he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, I needed the respect, and that's still what I do it for to this day. Like, I was talking to a guy at work, and it was like, people who make their craft don't make it for fans; they make it for their contemporaries, for people who respect their craft. Whether it's TV editing, or I heard a story about Spike Lee screaming on a PA for this very minor thing that the viewer wouldn't even notice, but his contemporaries in the respect of his peers. And I think that's the reason why I always English site. Always.
All right. No doubt. Ev, what do you think, bro? Do you think, with a lot of the new MCs that, because I think Vegas really changed my thought process, because I think I used to always say things like, man, hip hop is whack, but Vegas kind of, the way Vegas put it, you know, it literally kind of threw me off my game of what I wanted to really get more into, because I'm like, I guess it really isn't whack. You know what I mean? It's just more of what we have to dig for. Like you said, hip hop on the mainstream, you know, in '93, we was watching the Sprite commercial with CL Smooth and Grand Poobah. You know what I mean? So, you know, and now I got little whoever doing a Target commercial over Rob Bass, It Takes Two. You know what I mean? So I think I'm still, in my mind, I'm still always looking at the mainstream, and I'm trying to be like, how do we grab all these littles and throw them in a room? And I think Joe Budden said something like he got a dodgeball game coming up or something with all these new school rappers just to kind of have fun and kind of break bread together, whatever. But I like what Vague said. I like what Yao said. Like, yo, just let them have that, and we'll come over here and do this. But what do you think, bro? Do you think, I mean, from hearing all of this, that I actually feel hip-hop is in a better place than what I thought 2 hours ago? You know what I mean? What do you think, Al?
Well, I definitely agree. I think hip-hop itself is in a really good place. I think, I also think there is some things that really like look at. Things evolve within its own cipher, right? So it's going to get better within its own cipher. At some point, it's going to evolve into something different. And I think part of our issue is we're using the same language that we've been using since the 90s, but things are evolving. So it's like when hip hop became hip hop, we wasn't like, yo, this is jazz. Like, no, it wasn't jazz. It was something different. So my point to that is, as things come in, instead of pushing it into the place or into the namesake of something that's prior to its existence, let's just call it, let's allow the music itself to evolve into, let's call it something different. This is this, or this is that. And as the older cats, for us, to me, I think it'd be kind of dope, because then you can kind of appreciate the journey a bit more, as opposed to just like using the same language you've been using forever. So to answer your question, yeah, I think hip hop is, I feel like it definitely has evolved. I think the MCs now, the MCs that I appreciate are better than the MCs from the 90s. Like, I've gone back and listened to shit and be like, yo, actually, it's not as dope as I thought it was. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's cats now that's really that, you know, my man Zan said this back in like early 2000, I think, and this was around the time, I think, when Kendrick came out. And he was like, yo, that nigga can rhyme. And this is a dude that I look up to as an MC. So it's like, you know, I feel like the penmanship is getting more, it's an artistic thing. And I think that's something else too. Like, you know, we're talking about artists here. Like, you know, there is no limitation for what they do. They should be able to go and express and breathe and do however they want to do and move in any kind of way they want to move. So I feel like, you know, some of it is the language that we're using, and we're not allowing the actual music itself to evolve to something new. And I think at this point, it's done went through the cycle already. Now it's going to another level, and it's branching off. We have all different types of things. Like you said, you know, you got the MCs that are out for the bag. And I can't say who's out for the bag or who's not, because everybody's artistic, you know, vision is different. Some people are really trying to be like, you know, as artistic as they can be. But the cats that I like, I can hear their influence for some of the cats that, you know, we hung about as our top MCs. I can hear the influence, and I can hear them evolve from that point. So I think you know, the music is really dope. I think one of the problems is, and it's funny enough, there's so many more avenues, but it becomes so much more harder to find the music, to find the shit that you're looking for. It's kind of remind me of like back in the 80s when you're trying to get that mixtape, like the SNS mixtape. You had to find somebody that knew somebody that had that shit. You know, it wasn't like you're just gonna go online and just download. Like, no, you had to find it. So I feel like it's kind of like that now. In order to find the stuff that we really like, we really have to dig and search for it. And this is my last point, y'all. I think there's something to be said about making music for your peers, making art for your peers. Like my next project, I just want to give it to motherfuckers on this panel right here, and that's it. Like, I'm at a point, like I ain't trying to sign a deal. I'm not trying to get rich off. I want to make it because I still love and enjoy, and it's I am very passionate about the music. But that's just the point where I'm at in my life. So I think it's just so many different elements that we're looking at, but we're trying to keep everything in this condensed lens, and it has already evolved. We just haven't given a name yet.
All right, what's up, Vern?
Can I be honest? To Rex's point, to L's point, Vague even mentioned it. Bro, I really didn't fall in love with hip hop. The first song that I really liked, I'll be honest, was Roxanne. But the first hip hop album that I fell in love with was Paid in Full. So my point is, I liked some of that earlier rap, but it was like, it was basic, and I even felt that then. So if you listen to a Rakim versus something that came out in '83, come on, man, there's no comparison. And a couple other points. I listened to a podcast today. D-Nice said that KRS-One had books of rhymes, and he had a diss for every rapper out there, even guys he liked. You know, and he was like, look, Quest, I wrote some stuff about Black Thought. So my point is, I remember trying to get in the game about 1991, and I'm this straight, you know, for the love, for the culture. I'm coming off the top of the dome, and I'm at showcases and stuff, and people are supposed to be freestyling, and I'm like, man, they are not freestyling. And my man was like, look, bro, if anybody on here who's ever MC, you know that you have books where you wrote some rhymes that are not in any songs, but you just kind of got them on deck that you can interject them, and you're gonna put some freestyle to it. Mm-hmm. But you're gonna interject some of those lines or some of those bars off of it. That's kind of, I think, the evolution. When Busy B was yes, y'all to the beat, y'all, you could quickly off of the dome and what's happening right now. But as people sharpen their lyrics and things like that, I mean, I knew the first time I heard Black Thought that he did not just come off the top of his head
for 10 minutes. Exactly.
Not saying the stuff he was saying, not the intricacies and the well thought out stuff of that. But
the flows in the pockets, like that's shit you can't mimic that unless you're practicing. Now, what I will say is he does write. I did hear he writes a rhyme in the morning in front of the mirror every single morning. So he's highly skilled with that and memorizing his rap. But I mean, to call it a freestyle off the dome, if you're knew that wasn't the case.
But how is that not possible when we've all sat on this panel and have heard that before? How is that not possible?
That's what I was going to say. Like, I can halfway believe it because I've seen this cat spit. He's nasty.
I came up with cats.
He's nasty.
It didn't matter what you threw on.
It was a bit more.
Right. It doesn't matter what you threw on, when you threw it on. When you got in that zone, you didn't give a fuck what it kicking the snare.
And an example to that is Supernatural.
Exactly.
Cats still have not been able to do what that was.
Exactly. Skills. I've seen Skills do the same exact thing. It's select people that can do that. I'm not saying you're wrong.
No, I'm not saying that.
You had this conversation that day.
Yeah, I remember.
I chopped it up for about an hour and a half that day about this same topic.
Yeah.
It is not that people can't do it. It is just that it's so select that when it is done, you don't believe it because you've probably never heard it before or seen it.
I also think that freestyle, you know, as far as that off the top, has kind of regressed because people don't do it.
I agree.
They're not exercising that muscle.
You have to train.
I agree.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's muscle memory because if you're not freestyling to get better, or if you're not at that point to where you can do that, then like you said, Eb, it regresses. And as a whole, regardless if it's for the culture or if it's just for mainstream, whatever, it has regressed. You know.
And hold up on that for a second, right? Because I was gonna say, I think because Nick, we was talking about it, and it's kind of like I thought the freestyle was kind of half and half.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the talent too.
It had its moments.
I thought it was 75% freestyle, 25% written, because, like I said, I've seen and heard thought. If this was probably any other MC, because like Greg made a great point, everybody is not going to be LeBron. There's a chosen few. Like there's not going to be another coach. I lived through the whole who's going to be the next Jordan. Like I lived through that era. Everybody who could dunk was going to be the next Jordan. Like everybody.
Harold Miner was
Harold Miner, Baby Jordan.
Baby Jordan,
yeah. But so for me, Thought, I'm actually like, this is 70, probably 75, because I've seen him do it so much and seen him be able to do that. Anybody else that's been up there with Flex, My Sign, any of them other dudes, I would have never believed it. But with Thought, I kind of was like, okay, 75, 25, you know, but I think that's the thing too, that again, it was just, it's Thought, you know what I mean? It's the dude I just gave the belt to. I just gave this dude the chip.
But he still got the belt because what he did is still a talent.
That's my point.
Even if he's interjecting written with off the dome, that's a talent because everybody can't do that.
And keep in mind,
keeps it in there like that.
I'm sorry, I was supposed to say this at the beginning. This is no knock on Thought. This is This is no knock on Thought at all because I don't think anybody is going to be able to go up there and top what he did. In fact, I appreciate Thought doing that because to me, anybody who has to go up there is going to have to sharpen their a lot. So if anything, Thought pushed that button to the level. So this is no knock on Thought. I'm not saying nothing. My whole thing just with Thought was, why did the word freestyle change? That's the only reason why I'm even bringing up Thought. It's no knock on him because, like you said, Nick, he still gets that title because he still can do it. I know he can do it, you know. But like you said, and I guess here's the thing: like for Vegas, for F, for Yao, how do y'all are still rhyming? Y'all are still dope. How do you keep your pen sharp when you're not in freestyle? When there are no ciphers? With Veg, you got 2 kids. Ev, you got a kid. Yeah, you about to get married.
Yeah, that is a good question because like
good question.
How do you keep your sword sharp
when you can't walk outside and there's no ciphers?
Yeah, nobody there.
Look, hey, look, it's tough. It's tough out here. It is tough. Because honestly speaking, I'll think around all day. I'll be sitting there just in my mind. If you are MC, I'm sure Veg, you go through this. You're just being in your mind one day, think of one line, next line come, you're like, oh shit, that was hot. And then save it for something. But like the time that you have to put in, there's no like, because I walk around my crib myself, or I recite old rhymes to myself, or I'll be in the shower. My lady with the beat playing for 2-3 hours, my lady is like, "You're not tired of this beat yet." Like that's how I keep my skill up. It's because like at this age, there aren't many ciphers,
right?
But you just never know when you have to get in one. No, you just never know. So I just try to keep at the very least, a lot of old verses that I have that I've never been recorded or have never been or have no intention of releasing. I just try to recite those to myself every day or so to make sure I still have it, still memorize the rhyme, and still just in case somebody throws a beat on or if I'm at a party, like sometime with my homie, and my homie be like, "Oh yeah, go," and it's like he'll put me on this, put the spotlight on me in front of like 30 people, and now I got to spit a rhyme, whether I'm ready or not. But you feel compelled to make sure you have at least a rhyme in his stash when somebody asks you. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's how I try to keep myself sharp and keep myself ready.
All right, Greg, what about you, man? How do you do it?
I don't. I'm retired.
Okay, good answer.
Nah, but to answer your question though, I feel like at a certain point, like when I was at Morgan, like on campus, it was ciphers all the time. There was niggas we had to battle. You know what I'm saying? It was just always a moment, and amongst friends, we kind of kept each other sharp. So I was writing every day. But then sometime after I graduated, and I had a kid a year after, it didn't change for me, but I got to a point where I didn't need to write every day, because anytime I got that feeling or I heard a beat or whatever, it would just come to me. Before I had to write all the time to keep sharp. As you can see with some of the things I've sent you, I'm retired, but should I sent you sound like I'm retired? No, but I am. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's kind of like I was telling my man and shit, and some bragging shit. I was just like, once you reach a certain level as an MC, you just get the glow where, you could, I said it in one of my rhymes, peak on a dime. I could retire and peak on a dime. It's like, it never leaves you because my passion for hip hop and my passion as an MC, it's always there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't necessarily have to, if I wrote every day, I'd be writing a lot of whack shit. When I was younger, I wanted to, you coming from a club, you talking to chicks, you damn near getting in fights, you got mad shit to write, you know what I'm saying? Now, what I'm going to be like, yo, traffic was crazy this morning. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, it's kind of like I get inspired by, hearing other people's music or hearing beats or seeing somebody like Black Thought do that, and it comes back, you know what I'm saying? Where I'm like, I could do that, you know what I'm saying? And you know, you just go in. But yeah, man, I kind of miss the Cypher situation, and I agree with what y'all was saying. How, I mean, that doesn't happen. We can put money down there. There's no moment Lil Yachty was like, they was like, yo, Yachty. You know how they back in the day they call you from the building like, yo, these niggas trying to battle. Nobody calling Yachty from the house like, yo, Yachty. Yo, these niggas trying to battle. Get these niggas.
That's so real, man.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of it's unfortunate because it's almost as if the industry and the mainstream side of the things have kind of killed some of those things we had, and it really only exists in some of us who have experienced it. So I feel like it's our duty to pass that on, or to point some of those things out and say, you know, yeah, that's a freestyle by today's terms, but this is what a freestyle was. Can you do that? And you know, trust me, younger dudes will try. Because I will say this for them little Yachties and whatever, they tried to freestyle. I know y'all seen the videos.
The Kodak Black.
Yeah, it was terrible. And I ain't gonna talk because I'm not no big freestyler rapper either. I'm a songwriter. But I feel like with them, they didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because that could have hurt their record sales. But their audience don't give a shit if they can rhyme two words together or not. So it's whatever.
Before we go to you, Ab, let me just put another little statement out. And this is and because some people were saying, so what, you ain't a real MC if you can't freestyle? Nah, I'm not saying that at all. To me, that's a certain gift that don't everybody got. Like Vague said, you could try it, and it don't sound good, you know? So I don't take, you know, because somebody was like on Twitter, like, yo, Kill, your favorite big, all them big freestyles wasn't freestyles. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, I'm not saying you have to know how to freestyle. I do think it's a good skill to have. I'm not, but I don't think that takes away, in my opinion. Maybe somebody else differs, but in my opinion, if Nas can't freestyle, that doesn't, I'm not like, damn, I gotta take him off of number 2 and bring him down. Like, in my opinion. But Ev, how do you keep your sword sharp? You're in Cali, Dolo. What do you do to stay sharp?
Well, I mean, to be very honest with you, I don't know if I'm still sharp. I ask myself those questions every day. I think that alone keeps me like striving to be better than I was last year, 2 years ago. I mean, as far as technique, you know, I'll freestyle in the car by myself all day, but it's not for the freestyle muscle memory. It's more for breath control. Because what I've understood as you get older, a lot of times older MCs can't ride that rhythm the same way because their breath control, you haven't exercised that breath control enough. So I do shit like that, like a technique is for breath control. And for me, the writing part, I kind of agree with Vague. You know, I don't write every day, but it's always been for me, I have to live it first before I can write it. And when you live in it, and when you're this age, it's like, okay, so I'm 41. Right, and what am I going to talk to? What am I actually going to write about? And who am I talking to? That's another reason why I'm like, well, I'm going to be talking to my peers. Because number one, I'm not going to come out here talking about how much you know money I got or if I am in the street. It's going to be more about just like my life experiences. And, you know, that's why I got to salute cats like the dude from Foreign Exchange when he did the joint about his divorce.
Yeah, Fonte.
Yeah. So for me, you got to live it. And, you know, so when I do write rhymes, and I still do write, I write them and I put them to the side, and I write them till I put them aside, and I write. And I think that's my process for putting together. I don't put together an album every year or every 2 years. That shit takes a minute. Like, I tell you, he'll send me this not the rhythm hit him beat like what 5 years ago now, more than that.
Golly.
I got a 16 for it, but I never did. I never did a whole song for the joint. But it's certain things that I do technique wise, just because as an MC, it's a personal thing. It's not even for like to introduce anybody, be like, yo, I'm this or I'm that. For me, it's like I want to stay as dope as I feel like I've always been. But I wake up in the morning, like I have to ask myself those questions, like, are you really dope? You know, can you really ride that shit like that? And if you can do it, let me see you do it. Because for me, that's what made me good, is because I had to look myself in the mirror every day. So if I gotta look myself in the mirror, then I gotta come correct. and that's what happens. But you know, as far as like spitting stuff down, it's coming, but it's definitely not as fast as it was. But at the same point in time, I think there's something to say about the creative mind. My mind is split between writing rhymes, writing composition pieces, like straight writing music, writing sound scores, you know. So my shit is split up in that kind of way. So, and I've always said, like, if you're not dedicating 100% of your mind to something, then you gotta work a little bit harder. You gotta work a little bit harder, because if you got split it up like that, you gotta work a little bit harder. That's why, to me, it's always hard to find that producer MC that's just dope on both levels, because your mind is split. Creatively, your mind is trying to do two different things. But to make a long story short, man, it just that's how I do it. I just, you know, for me, it's a lot of living it. It's a lot of thinking about it. It's a lot of like working on the technique, the breath control. It's a lot of understanding the rhythm and understanding what you're writing and how you want to fall in the pocket. I think for me, the technique is what keeps me up on my game. But as far as I'm dope, I mean, you only as dope as your last project. I don't know if I'm dope till I put this next shit out and somebody says, yo, this shit is dope.
Hey, Kill, you may or may not know this, but I'm like vague. I've been retired for longer than him. But the good thing about any creative mind, I teach a men's class at church, and also my wife and I, we facilitate, one of the facilitators of a marriage class. And I've gotten compliments on, man, you know, the analogies that you come up with, or, you know, the things that you bring in, that's hip hop, bro. That's me, you know, writing rhymes or freestyling and my own merit or whatever, and observing what I see in a movie or whatever. Just the same way somebody would take something from a movie and put it in a rhyme, I put that when I'm teaching. And when I'm sitting there and somebody's talking about their marriage or whatever, I'll think of a lyric or something, and then it'll come. That's that hip hop, that stuff just drops in your head. So it never goes away. I think as we evolve, you know, we just apply it to something else. I'm in sales. I've been in sales for 20 years. Being able to adapt to your environment or adapt to one person that's different from another person, that's hip hop. You know, be able to quickly think on your feet. To think on your feet quick. That's hip hop. So it never goes away.
Right. No. All good points, man. I appreciate Vag because I feel better, man. I came into this episode like, yo, hip hop sucks, man. And Ray Gun messed up the whole night, man.
Cabbies tonight, man.
Yeah, I had a whole list of things I wanted to complain about. And I really can't. I don't even know where to go, man. But I will say this, man. I just hope that there's some way that we can kind of reach the masses, because the great thing about us is that, you know, I always say hip hop raised me. You know what I mean? Like everything, like what Vern would just say, everything I do is hip hop. The way I wear my hat, the way I walk, like everything I do is hip hop. And it's sad because the kids that I'm rocking with, they're not listening to the people we listen to. You know, they're listening to all these littles. And I seen something on Twitter the other day, like, yo, somebody was asking, like, yo, are these drug companies paying these rappers to talk about popping pills and popping mollies? And, you know,
why not?
We got these kids ODing out here. We got kids out here that's straight addicted on drugs at 14, 15 years old because the weekend and everybody is, you know, when we was coming up, it was weed. When I got to Morgan, I ain't never even think about weed before I heard the crime and what and all that, you know. But these kids is now going to college popping pills and syrup and all this stuff. And, you know, so not that we going to brainstorm it now, but I still, you know, you all are the people who I respect. And so just think about some ideas and ways, because, you know, my kids, you know, if Jace was up here tonight, he comes out and volunteers with my kids. Man, these kids are lost, man. These kids are lost. You know, and it's good for us to be able to say, well, we got the good hip hop. I'm just kind of upset that we can't say the next generation has that good hip hop. Because when I try to play it for them, anybody knows you get Mr. Kill Car, you're gonna listen to some old shit. That's just part of getting a ride. You can catch the bus, or you can listen to some old shit. It's always up to you, you know. But you know, just like brainstorming some ideas, because these kids, I don't know where I would be if I didn't have hip hop. You know what I mean?
Same here.
I know if Chuck D wasn't saying, you know, fight the power and don't be a drug dealer, I know I would have sold drugs. There ain't even no blemish in my mind if I wouldn't have. So I can't imagine growing up without hip hop, and these kids are having to grow up without our hip hop. And I feel like
it's funny that, Phil, I'm curious because I feel like To Pimp a Butterfly is a great album for a kid.
That's what I was gonna say. Kendrick, Sci-Hi, J. Cole, those are the cats like you could play for.
Some of them are out there. They may not be like as catchy as some of the other stuff that's out there.
Right.
I just say stuff. But you know, I feel like there is some things. That's why I'm like, hip hop is still doing this thing because there's some actually still some good artists out there. I just don't know what the kids are choosing to listen to. They may not be popular to the kids.
Yeah, and see that's the thing. Kendricks and Coles, those cats, they're not popular to my kids. You know, my kids, because what I'll do with one of my kids, I take home every Monday and Wednesday. We go back and forth. I'll play him something, and then the next day he'll play me something. And the stuff he plays me, bruh, I mean, it ain't nothing but, you know, fucking shooting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
but you know what though? You
get a whole bunch of sound effects, a whole bunch of weird.
But Ev, you know, you say that, and that's dope. But you got to remember, for us, the culture was a bunch of different things. We got to pick and choose what part of the culture accepted us. Because granted, you know, Vern said it best. Like he went out there, he did his thing on the tip as far as him trying to write some rhymes. It just didn't work his way. You know what I'm saying? But you look at Vern, and Vern was the pen his camera. He got a drum set. So Vern is nice on the beats. I know this. You know what I'm saying? Different things from the culture gravitated towards us before we gravitated towards it. And these kids are not making that choice because those things are not being pushed. It's not so much about, you know, just being a lyricist. You have all different parts of the culture to choose from. And these kids are not doing that.
All right, so I'm actually on this panel because we about to get real deep. You know, we about to start talking
about
let me get out. I'm just saying we about to start talking about systemic oppression. And that's one of the major things happening in the music. So that's a whole big door.
Yeah, and like I said, I wasn't opening that door. That's why I said
I didn't mean to.
No. But you didn't. But there's reasons for it.
I asked y'all to just brainstorm amongst yourselves, and we can get back together at another time because
I'll brainstorm on it.
We can build on it because you're right. There's reasons for why these things are happening.
Yeah, exactly. Ev, I will email you.
Yeah,
I will email you.
I think it's with the corporate side because I've heard before where I forgot what the rapper was, but it was like we want more 50 Cent, less Mos Def. So when you got those kind of people in the corporate office, they can control what they want to push out there and the images that they want out there.
Right. And look at this. Where the Houston cats at?
I mean, I'm here, but I ain't here. I'm not in the fifth ward.
I'm bringing that up to say Scarface been saying this for a long time. He been talking about this shit for a long time.
No doubt. But that's the thing. The culture here is what? Lean. What's in your cup? Double cup. They're not.
That's because that's what's being pushed to the mainstream. So
right. But I think, and it's funny. I think with the death of Pimp C and UGK as a whole, I think they had a lot to do with it, man, because those cats really talked about the good side and the bad side. They didn't leave one out. You know what I'm saying? So with that, you get all of this floodgates being open, and you don't have the good and the bad. You need that. You need to understand what's good and what's bad.
Yeah, both sides.
It's not. Yeah, you got to have both sides. Because if you don't, you just get a jaded point, and you're not. If you're not living that life, and you're the Project Window kid, you're easily pulled into something that you have no real clue about, and it just doesn't work for you. But I mean, like I said, Ev, I will email you.
We gonna chop it up about that because again, I don't know how it is in other places, but in DC, all my teens they only listen to DC rappers. I'm like, y'all don't listen. That's all they do. And again, it may just be DC. Two of my kids is locked up for murder right now. I'm with another one of my kids taking him to court for a charge. And I'm like, he's listening to this music and it's like shoot, kill, do all this. And I'm like, yo, bro, does this even bother you that like your two homeboys is like not ever coming home because they just murdered somebody? And he
but is that the real excuse?
Our music did that too.
Yeah, I can't buy that because Pop.
Well,
Pop sat there and said some wild shit, but I
don't want to go. I don't want to go down this path right now. But the thing is, again, our days, us old heads, I didn't have to listen to NWA say "fuck a bitch" 50 times.
Yeah, we had balance.
And then I could go listen to Salt and Pepper. I could go listen to De La Soul. But if all I had, I could go listen to PE. If all I heard was 30
NWA, you would have fucked up.
Trust me, I don't think nobody on this panel would be the same person they was. I know you don't like NWA just because.
I didn't listen to NWA. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan. I was a cute fan. I wasn't
right. NWA fan. But that's what I'm saying. But if that's all the hip hop you had to listen to, you could choose to listen to other things. But if that's all you had, it would have affected you. But I don't want to hold y'all. I know it's been a dope night. Vegas, I appreciate you for making me feel better about hip hop, bro, man.
Hey, Kill gonna make some trap beats tonight, y'all.
No, he not. I know. No, he not.
I know. Yeah, I know.
I actually want to hear you make one. Just
it ain't in him. It ain't in him.
Look, Kill.
Trap beats, Kill. Yeah, that's the challenge. You gotta make a trap beat now.
Yeah, do it. You can do a trap beat and then still throw a sample in there.
Yo,
I don't want to hear no triplet hi-hats from you.
I would have to go to YouTube and type how to make a trap beat. Like, I have no idea. And it's funny because Vern showed me a book earlier in the week, something about how to rap, and I was like, he's like, good. I was like, is it?
Book?
It's dope. No, bro, it ain't what you think. It ain't what you think.
And the reason why I said that was because I'm sitting here like, I came up in an era where you just had to learn to use shit on your own. Like, you didn't know, nobody taught you how to rap, nobody taught you how to use the MP, nobody taught you how to DJ. There was no Scratch Academy where you could go pay $450 and get your DJ, come out with a DJ degree and all of that.
$450 went to a turntable and a mixer.
Yeah.
Right, so I got a question, man. We're talking about sacredness and hip hop and all this. Kill, I got a question. Where the MP at, man? Just pan to the MP right now. Let me see it. Where's it sitting at, man? It's on the floor, ain't it? It's on the floor. See, you picked it up off the floor. It ain't got one wire plugged in. It ain't got a power cord plugged in.
You gotta put that in the plexiglass, guys.
First of all,
doing that thing dirty, man.
If y'all look at this MP, this thing looks brand new.
Why does it look brand new, Kill? Why?
I was on this thing for at least a good 9 years before I got the machine. So I just take good care of my equipment. It's a good piece.
Picked it up off the floor, Kill. I saw you pick it up off the floor.
You're supposed to put it on the wall.
Don't be like me and sell it. I sold
on the table. Not fucking with you.
No. That's all good. Yao G's, thank you for sitting in with us, man. I appreciate it. Tell me about everything you got going on, man.
All right. Working on music still. I'm probably gonna drop some singles throughout the new year, next couple of months. Got joints with a couple people on this panel. What else I got going on? I got some other things going on with the whole poetry thing with a couple of these networks. We got that going on.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make honestly, I'm getting married in a couple months, so that's another thing.
All right. Congrats, brother.
You know what I mean? Shout out to my lady, Habel. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I'm just working, just grinding, trying to make things happen. Oh, not to go off tangent here, but I had another rapper to mention to y'all. His name is Belly. He's done some work with Beyonce, and he's a really dope rapper. Honestly, he's got a couple songs with Pusha T, and he got some other cats on his album. The album is actually called Mumble Rap, but he's not mumbling at all. So go check that out.
And his name is Belly, like the movie?
Like the movie, yeah.
All right. Where dude from?
Toronto.
Okay.
You know what? That's the old school in me. I'm always like, where you from? Like, you know.
I ask the same question. I ask the same question every single time I hear a new rapper. Just because you just gotta identify, where you coming from. You gotta know.
Yeah.
You gotta know.
Yeah. I mean, the beautiful thing about hip hop now, I love, because there was a time if you wasn't from New York, you wasn't getting no run, you wasn't getting no pub, no nothing. So I do love the fact that, the most anticipated rapper ever is from New Orleans, you know what I mean, with Jay Electronica, but I love the fact that people coming from everywhere. When you told me Nick Grant was from South Carolina, I ain't gonna hold you. That kind of held me back, a little couple of weeks from listening to him, because I'm like, I don't. It's South Carolina, I don't know. But
dope though.
Yeah,
Dope, though.
Dude's a problem, man. I'm eating my words, but that's what's up. That's what's up. Give them all the Bandcamp, SoundCloud, all that good stuff.
Yeah, music on SoundCloud. YowMusic.bandcamp.com. It's Yeah Music on IG. Yeah Music on Twitter. For those who I've been way more active on Twitter as of late. Shout out to my man Kill. You know what I mean? Sometimes I be ODing with the little threads I be doing. Shout out to Shay Shay LaPorsche. I'm trying to get involved, but the time I look up there, I'm already 20 minutes deep, and I have no idea what y'all talking about. So, you know, it is what it is.
And too, the other thing too, man, because a lot of times I tell people that it's funny because I tell people about you, and then I'll always be like the ESPN thing that you used to do, and then so many more people know you from that. You know what I mean? So definitely, where can they see that at? That was on YouTube, right?
It's on YouTube. Just search Yao. It's actually probably the first thing that comes up. If you put Yao G's, it's probably the first thing that comes up. It's got a lot of views on it. I did a couple football, NFL poetry pieces for them. I had some basketball pieces I did as well for Bleacher Report as well as TNT for last year. Hopefully, we've got some more things coming this year with a couple of those networks, and we're trying to keep progressing and keep moving forward.
Hey, Yao, what's that Twitter again?
Yao Music, YAW Music.
Yo, real quick, man, you did something for Bleacher Report about the Jelly Crew or somebody.
Oh yeah, so I forgot. I've been working so many different jobs, but I actually did 2 voiceovers for Bleacher Report. I did one called one for God Sham God. I did a piece on him, about a 10-minute feature on God Sham God. So check that one out for the OGs who know about God Sham God. I also did another one about Jelly Fam. Jelly Fam is it's like a New York. I don't even know what to call it. It's almost like a New York hoop group.
Yeah, New York,
kids in New York and New Jersey, Connecticut, upstate New York kids. A couple kids that got together and like developed this hoop group that has like all of a sudden become kind of like nationwide and has gained a lot of notoriety. Like everywhere they go, their games are packed. Kids play in high school, and a lot of them are signed to different colleges. So I did a voiceover piece of Bleacher Report for that piece. Gained a lot of steam. I think I want to say like after the first couple of days, it's probably up to like 2 million views. So. Things progressing, so you know people see my name on the end of the credits, and it's like I said, everything's just a blessing. So we'll keep moving forward, though.
No doubt. That Sham God piece was dope. Dopest crossover in the world, in my opinion. Vern, give them all your info.
I agree.
V Chandler 10 on Twitter, VE Chandler 10 on Instagram. Appreciate the chop up, fellas.
Always. Vegas, give us all your stuff, man. Didn't you just drop the album?
Like
an
old album.
Yeah, all right.
An album.
Yes. Something that it was when I was trying to do like my first independent album in the studio and all that, different producers, but then I just kind of scrapped it, and I've had it forever. Some of the rhymes you've heard, some you haven't. It's called By Design circa 1977. Yeah. I was listening to it the other day, and I was like, well, shit. You know, it's a different time. You know, I might as well just upload this and whatever. I need to do a better job of promoting my music, but I just got too much other shit going on. So I just kind of put shit out there and just be like, yo, who want to listen? You know what I'm saying? So, but you can hear that join at SoundCloud.com/VegasWorldInc.
All right, and let them know about the podcast. You have some guests on, some listeners.
Yeah. So my podcast, Hip Hop Now Podcast, which will be available on Spotify soon. But the hub is SoundCloud.com/Hip Hop Now Podcast. I'm going to be doing a listener feature, maybe like 2-3 minutes, maybe even 5, depending on what it is, where we just learn about other people who love hip hop, you know, and their opinions, and you know, just conversate, kind of bringing that community into the podcast with something interactive with the listeners.
All right, that's what's up. Nick, give them all your stuff, good brother.
Twitter, Balloon, like De La Soul, third album. Kill will post it up.
Let me see that T-shirt, man.
The 3 feet high joint. Yeah. Instagram, 14 karat gold.
I'm glad you did not have no Tribe Called Quest shit on the night.
What's wrong with
Tribe Called Quest, man? I am a Tribe Called Quest fan.
Oh, easy.
I love Tribe Called Quest. But look, I hate that last album.
Why did we not?
Trash. I'm not going to change. I think it's trash. I'm just gonna say that.
Oh, this dude's
cold world from Ev. It's a cold world from Ev over there.
They're my number one hip hop group. My number one group is Tribe Called Quest.
I'm so glad I did not wear my Fife t-shirt tonight.
Oh, no, I love Fife. I just hate that last album. That's all it's
my bad, Nick. What's your IG?
You know the IG too long, man. Kill gonna post it up. Y'all can follow me from there.
What's all your stuff, good brother?
Oh, my stuff? Yeah, man. I be out there, man. Catch me on the block around 5, maybe 6. Like, no. Let me see. It's always difficult. Twitter, Mental151. I'm trying to do better. I'm just going to keep saying I'm trying to do better. I'm there sometimes I'm not.
All right.
I'm up on Instagram, but I'm more watching. I'm not really taking pictures yet. I ain't get to the point yet. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's about it. You know. Oh, but you know what? You can, as far as my company, Flux Innovations, fluxn.com. You can. I'm about to revamp that. You can see some of the other projects I'm working on. I just did a theater piece that got voted one of the top 5 solo performances of 2017.
All right. Okay.
That was so that was dope. That was out of New York too, so that was dope. So yeah, so fluxin.com. I'll be revamping that and put a bunch of new stuff up there. But yeah, that's about it.
All right, DJ Rec One.
Oh man, the SoundCloud is soundcloud.com /JRec1. It's a new episode of The Foundation on there. I have another one coming up probably this weekend. Getting ready to drop another project, another beat tape. The Twitter is @DJRec1 and IG is Worldwide Rec1.
All right, and so I'm giving everything about Enter the Dome, man.
First off, man, y'all some dope brothers, man. So I enjoy it, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah,
Twitter is just Enter the Dome, and the website enterthedome.com. So check it out, man. It's doing very well. I just posted some new articles of the Legend of Rakim.
Yeah, dope.
Appreciate that, man. The Miles Davis of hip hop. Madonna, I got one. Madonna, Shaka Khan. I did one. You guys might like. We sold hip hop to the highest bidder.
Yeah, I'll check that.
Interesting, man. So yeah, everything is.
What's the site again, my brother? What's the site?
Enter the Dome.
Enterthedome.com.
DADOME.
Pretty much like the Black Moon joint. Enter the Dome.
Yeah.
Dope website.
Mm-hmm. Appreciate
I try to sneak on that joint while I be in the office. I be like, oh man, bro.
Yeah, and also, I'm waiting for that Red Fox piece you said you were going to.
Yeah, man, what's up with that?
Yeah, I'm gonna have that joint up Saturday.
Tonight?
Man, but I think this is gonna be real interesting one, man.
Yeah, wait, man.
Appreciate
All right, no doubt. Y'all already know what it is with me, the trusty MPC that I have no idea how to use
on the floor
because I've been with the machine. 2 things. Just dropped a new beat tape. Me and my man Trust One do our Get Down beat tapes. We on volume 5. I invited my man C. Jills from Chicago to jump on this one. 12 dope beats. They're crazy. And then also, we've been taking the podcast on the road. We just did an episode up at Philly, at Glock Radio up in Philly. We're going to be back in D.C. Saturday, January 20th from 4 to 6. We got Grab Lover on board for this joint. We got my man.
Wow.
It's got a couple of people we invite now. Prayerfully they come through, but it's definitely January 20th. It's at the American Poetry Museum, 750 Monroe Street, Northeast, Washington, D.C. So for anybody out there in the DMV or going to be in the area, come through, chop it up. I think we talking about B-sides, remixes, and exclusives. So with Grab Love on the panel, you could best believe it's going to be some good basement stories of some exclusives and some remixes. Prayerfully, like I said, if a couple other people come out who we invite out, it should be a real dope show. As always, appreciate y'all. Yo, Veg, man, thank you for making me feel better about hip hop. I'm real good, man.
You gotta understand, man. First of all, I know you.
Right.
So on Twitter, when you say certain things, I be quiet because I know I'm gonna be here. And when I come on here, I just be like, all right, when Kill come to me, I'll just unload. So
right.
Yeah,
I feel it. See, being on Twitter, chopping it up with people, I love that. They be calling it. They be saying I'm right. I love chopping it up with people, man, because prayerfully people are listening. So I know. I every time I get into somebody, I'm like, I know Vegas. Like, see, they go kill with them fucking trolls. Here he go. But I'm like, yo, man, if I could just educate, that's a bit the educator in me. If I could just save one troll, man. If I could educate one troll, I feel like I did my job today. You know what I mean? So that's what it is. But all right, y'all brothers, I'll check y'all next week.
Hey, Kill, I got one request.
Yeah, what's going on, Big Bird?
Could you please get Iran on a little bit more?
Yeah. Dude is a wealth of knowledge. Like I said, this will be 4 to 6. It may even go. I know it's hard to keep people's attention to watch these, so I try not to keep them over an hour and a half, but 2 hours. But the dude Iran, for cats who don't know, he's a DJ, he's a producer. He was kind of down with that whole Bad Boy crew, and this dude just has stories for years. Like, you could just name any MC from the 90s. He's got a story for you, and they're always interesting. So between him and Grab Love, this is definitely going to be a real dope episode. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this joint. So, yeah, we'll definitely have something on tap for that, y'all. So, all right, y'all. I'll catch y'all next week, good brothers.
Yes, sir.
Peace.